Good Saturday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Jacob DIckey, joining you on our digital platforms on this Saturday morning at 9:17 in the morning. We're taking a look at our winter weather coming to some of us this weekend. We'll time it out and take a look at the impacts we expect, the timing of things, and we'll also talk about the snow amounts at the end. So as we're logging on here, again, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. In addition, if you have any questions, you can put those in the chat. I'll be keeping my eyes on that here as we go on through. And so we'll continue to talk about that and show some of these impacts that we expect as we look at radar right now. Before we get too further along, I want to do a little housekeeping. As far as things go, we do want you to know that we're live right now, but we'll be live tonight at 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock on WCIA 3 News with weather leading. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Leidy will be in the storm tracker. He is planning to head to the north, likely Ford or even Iroquois County as far as his plans go, and so we'll be back on our digital platform sometime probably around 7 or 7:30 or so. We may even be a little earlier than that. Just watch for updates on Facebook and through our app as far as things go. We are streaming now, of course, to Facebook, a lot of you joining us there, and Twitter. And then we also stream to our WCIA 3 weather and our WCIA 3 news apps. We encourage you to download those as they've got lots of great information on the weather, news related, whatever you want. And I will say this as well. If you perhaps are joining in a little late, maybe you missed something, you have a question, we didn't get a chance to answer that, you can jump on over to the WCIA 3 weather app. I'll have all of the same graphics that are in the Weather Now story, the Weather Now video, and the 7-day forecast. So that's a little housekeeping before we get started here and take a look at things here this morning. Overall, things right now are quite quiet out there in central Illinois. Radar has shown a few light snow flurries out there. I think we're too dry at the surface for much of it to reach down to the ground. There may be a few flakes falling from Clinton to Monticello to Champaign-Urbana to Gibson City and into parts of Livingston, Iroquois, McLean counties. If you're seeing some of that, let me know in the chat. I don't anticipate anything of it as far as it goes, but this initial batch here will push on out pretty quickly. Our main event is off to our south and our west here. Look at all this rain from Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma. This is that main event that's coming our way. Some of us will see rain as early as this late morning hours. Most of us, though, have to wait till lunch into the early afternoon as far as things go. Here's a look at those latest alerts for central Illinois. We've got winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings in place for parts of the region, and that is primarily in the northeastern part of the viewing area. Just because, though, you aren't in a winter weather advisory or a winter storm warning doesn't mean that you won't see impacts or even some snow before all is said and done. But our highest impacts are going to be in this area here. Let's zoom in a little more with the winter weather advisories for McLean, Champaign, and Vermilion counties. That goes until Sunday afternoon. We also have a winter weather advisory for Livingston and Ford counties until Sunday afternoon. The winter storm warning has been issued for Iroquois, Benton counties, even Kankakee County in there. I know some folks watch us from up there. And that may be where the heaviest band of snow is here. But regardless, impacts for Livingston, Ford, Iroquois County going to be pretty close with that tight snow gradient. We'll talk more about the amount of snow we expect here in just a little bit. As far as it goes, this is what we expect. The most likely precip type tonight into early tomorrow. You'll see this blue to the north, Livingston, Ford, Iroquois, primarily snow. There'll be a transition between snow and rain to the south along the Interstate 74 corridor. It looks like it's going to be a bit of a sharp cutoff too, which means you'll see a quick ramping up of those accumulation totals based on where that sets up. And we think it's right along I-74 for the event tonight. Tonight, Springfield, Decatur, Mattoon, Effingham, Taylorville, Jacksonville, and Lincoln. It will be all rain for us, some heavy at times, and it will be breezy as well area-wide. But we're going to have to watch this little transition zone here where things could shift. 10-15 miles makes all the difference for us in Champaign-Urbana. If you're running heavier snow here in Champaign-Urbana, you want that shift to the south by about 15 miles. That's it. That's how close we are here to that line. A little shift to the north, though, would mean lesser amounts here. We think that the chance is there for some snow on the backside of this. This would be Sunday afternoon and Sunday night, and we'll add just a little bit of snow, not a whole lot. Maybe up to an inch in some spots here for areas that have missed out on this initial round, but impacts will be pretty limited to that. Let's take a look at future track and talk about what's happening here. Notice the rain starts to fill in late morning into the early afternoon, and we see here this purple area. That is that transition we're talking about as colder air fills in from the north. It's all rain to the south and west. Some of these yellow areas in here, some pretty moderate rainfall. Watch what happens here. This is about 5 o'clock tonight. That blue area, a very deep blue color too, pretty dark for what we expect. So it will fall heavy and wet. There's that transition. Look how well it sets up here on the I-74 corridor. And really it will pivot around the Champaign-Urbana area here as we go through about midnight before it lifts back to the north. The further south you live of Champaign, I think the lower the snow is. The further north, things ramp up pretty quickly. But by midnight, 1 a.m., light rain showers across areas to the south. Still, though, that heavy snow sticking around in northern Livingston, Ford, and Iroquois counties where those highest totals are going to be, with a mix of rain and snow to the south as far as it goes. Here we go into Sunday morning. We still have some light moisture on the backside, still some snow flurries and snowflakes, and this may fill in into the afternoon in areas that have missed out. This last batch on Sunday will overall be light compared to the snow we expect tonight for areas that are getting it, and it will likely clear out then as we head into Sunday night. Maybe gives us an extra inch, if that even, in some areas, just a little powdered sugar coating on areas that have missed out. As far as the impacts go, let's talk about those first. We'll have your snowfall forecast map coming up here afterwards. Here's the impacts. We think the primary time things really start to deteriorate into the afternoon in areas that are seeing that rain snow. And then the prime time really looks to be about 6 p.m. until midnight tonight for that heaviest snowfall rates in the area. We also are having some breezy winds through the day today, south and east 15 to 30 miles an hour, gusts as high as 40. When you add that in with the heavy wet snow, there may be some near whiteout conditions at times along and north of Interstate 74. To the south of that, though, still breezy with that rain. Maybe we call it some sideways rain as far as it goes here with those breezy on wind. Sunday, much less in the way of impacts. The morning, there may be some lingering impacts in areas that see the snow and some light snow into the afternoon. I expect things to be a lot calmer, though, for Sunday here. Again, that prime window for us for the heaviest snow, 6 to 12, and that will tell us a lot about our forecast. Impacts are higher to the north and east. Here's I-74, Watseka and Pontiac, going to see the heaviest snow. Things will taper off quickly to the south. We'll leave low impacts here in I-72 corridor down towards Mattoon for that band of light snow into tomorrow. But again, not really expecting a whole lot the further south you go. This really seems to be concentrated along Interstate 74 and to the north for the snow, the rain to the south. This is a travel winter storm impacts for us here as far as things go. If you're driving, heavy snow, again, may cause travel issues along and north of Interstate 74. I think we may see some whiteout conditions at times. We mix that wind and heavy snowfall rates here, and that may add some things up quickly as far as it goes. I can't rule out a few power outages. We just get those gusty winds, 30 to 40 miles an hour. That may cause some issues for a few localized areas. This is our snowfall forecast map. Before we put numbers on it, let's talk more about the area we're looking at here. You'll notice that quick ramping up from less accumulation till more to the north and to the east there. And what we're talking about here is how sharp this cutoff will be. Springfield and this area here in the white probably has to wait until tomorrow for the snow. So Springfield, Decatur, Effingham, Taylorville, Shelbyville, Sullivan, Mattoon, Charleston. I do not expect snow for you today and tonight. You'll get your chance on Sunday. The snow we expect today really sets a sharp cutoff here of that colors. Notice how narrow this band is here of light blue from that white color to the blue to the dark blue. And we think that sets up somewhere here along Interstate 74. The higher amounts to the north, lesser amounts to the south and east. And it may ramp up pretty quickly here as far as it goes. The highest amounts, though, Pontiac, Piper City, Watseka, generally along and north of US 24 is what we expect. And that's where we expect those highest totals moving forth. So here we go. Here's the numbers we expect. That pink area is 4 to 8 inches of snow. Looks like we're on target for that. And that may creep just ever so slightly to the south. Maybe Fairbury Forest, Roberts, maybe up towards Buckley. And we'll watch and see, but then that quickly tapers off. 2 to 4 inches, quickly tapers off into southern Ford County, northern Champaign County, the middle of Champaign County, 1 to 2 inches, and less than an inch for far southern Champaign County as far as it goes. So here's a closer look. This gives us an idea of those snowfall amounts. It's based on our forecast, but understand things may shift. 10 miles makes all of the difference here. If we shift this forecast 10 miles to the south, we bring this 3 to 4 inch band further and closer into Champaign-Urbana. If we move it 10 to 10 miles north, we bring that less than an inch into Champaign-Urbana. So really a fine line here. I wish I could say, yes, Champaign, absolutely certain. We're getting 1 to 2 inches here. Our confidence is very high that the snow band transition zone sets up right overhead here. It may play out, very possibly, could play out where down by Willard Airport, Savoy, less than an inch. And North Cunningham and Champaign could get 2 inches or more. I mean, that's the type of gradient we're talking about with this particular setup. The other thing I will say, too, is with our snowfall forecast is we may actually go a little higher than this 1 to 2 inches initially with heavier snow falling in central Illinois. What will happen, though, as we transition back to rain, it's a heavy, wet snow. It will compact down, especially if we add rain on top. So it's not going to be one of those clean snow events. You can go outside and measure a ruler when it's all done, and you've got 2 inches. We're going to keep seeing this precip, this rain, snow back and forth, I think, kind of compact things down. So our best forecast here for that 1 to 2 inches with a quick transition north and south. This is applicable in McLean counties as well as Vermilion counties with that sharp cutoff with the winter weather advisories. So we'll watch this shift very closely. The timing for that, where we'll really figure out if we're right or if we're dead wrong. 6 p.m. till midnight tonight. If we start seeing some really heavy snow, if you're watching out your window tonight and it's snowing really heavy at 6, 7 o'clock, you're going to be in that heavy snow band as far as it goes. If you're watching 6, 7 o'clock, we'll be on news, of course, and we'll be able to see, hey, this is where it's setting up. If you're in rain, you're getting the lesser amounts as far as things go, so that's something that we'll be watching. Speaking of rain, if we didn't have any snow, it was all water content, this is what we'd expect from rainfall totals through Monday morning. We expect 1 to 1.5 inches of rain here. Of course, up here to the north, Watsika, Pontiac, even Bloomington, Champaign, and Danville, some of that will mix in as snow. It will be a heavy, wet snow, though. There's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere that will allow for this heavy, wet snow, good packing snow for snowmen, snowballs, snow cream, if you're lucky enough to get it, though, with that transition zone quickly tapering off to the south and east. But hey, we'll take this because of the drought conditions that are still in place. There's still a little area of severe drought between Springfield, Decatur, and Lincoln, with moderate drought conditions extending to the north and east. So that's the good news as far as it goes. We need the rain, the moisture, for putting some moisture in the ground. I know the farmers are getting a little antsy. They could use a little water in the ground before we get to planting season in a few months. This will help with that, help alleviate some of those drought conditions. We don't want to go into the spring with moderate to severe drought in parts of central Illinois. That's what I've got for the forecast. Again, recapping, Kevin will be out in the field tonight. He'll be heading up north, I think, Fort Iroquois counties is his initial target. We'll fine-tune that. He wants to get into the heaviest snow, and rightfully so. That's where the heavy snow is to the north, rain to the south as far as things go. So we'll be watching and keeping our eyes on things. And Kevin's in the field. I'll be in the studio watching. Of course, we may do an update this afternoon if things look like they're going to change. I feel pretty comfortable with how the forecast is panning out. We'll send updates to the app. We'll be live at 6 o'clock news, 9 o'clock on WCIX, 10 o'clock on WCIA again. We'll do a digital show again coming up probably 7:30. Look for updates on that through the afternoon and evening as Kevin's in the field reporting on it. And then by midnight, 1 a.m., we will be seeing the heaviest snow exit out, lingering rain and snow, light in nature, the rest of the night into the day on Sunday is what we expect. So that is what we have. We're going to flip it over and answer questions now as far as it goes. I am going to throw the snow total map back up behind me, though, in case someone jumps on in. And understand, again, this zone right here, which includes Champaign, Bloomington, and Danville, the range really more is from 1 to 4. With that quick tapering off. It's hard to illustrate a sharp cutoff with confidence, so we've got to be a little more broad. And so there's a high chance that we'll miss the forecast for either to the north or to the south with what goes in that band there. Still, they'll feel comfortable that some folks out here, again, Lincoln, Decatur, Springfield, Jacksonville, Taylorville, Mattoon, you will have to wait until Sunday to get your snow. Some of you will probably message us if you didn't catch that. Say, hey, where's my snow? Sunday for the areas down here in the white. We're mainly focused Saturday night along and north of Interstate 74. All right, we're going to flip over to questions. So if you have any, let me know. And I'll be scrolling back through to make sure we've got that covered. And so let me get the graphics switched over here. Get the chat overlay put on in. And back those comments up. Let's see here. We've got folks checking in from all over. Clara is mentioning getting a little sleet in Bellflower this morning. We looked at radar. Thanks, Clara, for that confirmation. A little bit, it looks like it's just a little sleet there. So there may be a little bit making it to the ground. Not expecting that to cause problems, though. We'll have to wait for a little while. Is Arcola getting snow? Arcola will more than likely probably not see snow. That's southern Douglas County. It's such a sharp cutoff for the evening event where we don't think today you'll get that. It would have to overperform by a lot to make it happen. But we still think Arcola, you'll get the chance for some snow as we go into Sunday, as well as a lot of other areas that miss out tonight, but very light in nature. We've got Nancy saying Champaign, but driving to Bloomington today at 4:30. That's when things start to deteriorate fairly quickly. The wind will be at your back on 74, but we still think there will be some whiteout conditions. So take it a little slow, be extra cautious and extra aware, extra focused on the roadways. At least with that wind on your back, visibility may be a little bit better compared to if you're driving from Bloomington to Champaign, but we'll be watching things pretty closely here. We'll keep scrolling through. We got a Hoopston Corn Jerkers shout out. There we go. Ooh, Justin down in Chicken Bristle. I cannot wait for the day that we get a severe weather event and I get to call Chicken Bristle out in the air. Although we hope there's not severe weather, but that's such a fun name. If you don't know where Chicken Bristle is, northwestern Douglas County, northwest of Tuscola. It's like a collection of 15 houses there. It's actually a real place. Some people see these little names we put on, wonder, is that a real place? Chicken Bristle is a real place down in Douglas County. Carrie checking in northern Iroquois County, Clifton. Carrie, I'll be very interested in you and anyone else watching in Livingston, Forward Iroquois County in particular for your snowfall reports and your pictures and videos tonight. Of course, you can send those to us on social media, Twitter and Facebook, and email them to us, weather@wcia.com. We'll keep scrolling down here, and I know some more questions are being asked. Lori, Rantoul, what can we expect weather-wise? Rantoul just north of I-74, that 6 p.m. to midnight window. I think you'll get the better chance for some of that heavier snow there. 10 miles makes all the difference, though. It's about 10 miles up the road from Champaign-Urbana to Rantoul, maybe a little bit more. But that's going to really impact the forecast amounts there. So you're still kind of in that minor little transition zone of uncertainty, but I think you've got the better odds to get some of that heavier snow compared to us down in Champaign-Urbana. And you could get 1, 2, maybe 3 inches out of it, depending on when that band sets up. Where else? Raphael asking, how many inches of snow in Champaign? Again, Champaign is right in that transition zone. We think 1 to 2 inches as of the forecast now. It'll be slushy, wet, and heavy snow. The chances there, though, if that band puts itself 10 miles south, we could see a little bit higher, 3, maybe even 4 at the most. That would be the most I think we'd see. But if it goes 10 miles north, that transition zone, we're down less than an inch. And we may even see that variability in the city of Champaign-Urbana. Northeast Urbana could get 1, 2 inches. Southwest Champaign could see next to nothing. That's how close this is, where we think that line is setting up over town. So very much now we're in those micro details, those close focus details as far as it goes, but that's what we're expecting. This is a very good question. Farmers City, why Bloomington and Champaign have advisories, but not Farmers City? We are smack in the middle of them. Let me switch back to the graphics here for the alerts. It's a very valid and good question, and I'm glad someone asked that here with those winter weather advisories and alerts. Here's one of the issues that we have when it comes to winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings. Those are still issued by counties. When we talk about severe weather, tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings and flash flood warnings, those are polygon-based. We can have a section of a county that's issued for that. That's not the case with winter weather alerts, just the way things are set up. And we also think that that transition zone really sets up, it would look like from Bloomington right over Farmers City, right over Mansfield, right over Champaign-Urbana. So we've only got a sliver of DeWitt and Piatt counties that's in there. There's still a lot like Clinton down towards Kenny, Monticello down towards Beament, that don't see really anything as far as those impacts go. So it's such a small sliver, the National Weather Service can't really justify issuing the whole county on that, even though we know based on the forecast, you're right in that zone there of heavy wet snow and rain with that narrow transition line that we expect to set up. So that answers that question, I think. Tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, we can slice out a little polygon. Southern Piatt, northwestern Douglas, southwestern Champaign County. That's how we can do that, but these winter weather alerts don't. That's why we like to share more of these graphics like the impacts forecast for you. You'll notice our impacts forecast, Farmers City, Mansfield, right there on the edge of those highest impacts. A lot of McLean, Champaign, and Vermilion counties, a majority of it is being in those high impacts. There still will be some fog, particularly if you go southwest of Bloomington, down towards McLean, even Hayworth, maybe south of Champaign-Pacodum, Sedoris, or Allerton, Bismarck, or Allerton, Broadlands, even south of Vermilion County towards Sidell. You may stay in all rain there, but the majority of the county sees those impacts. And so that's how that works. It's not a perfect system. We like to focus more on those specific locations like this as far as things go. When does the weather start? We'll see rain move in late this morning into the early afternoon. The prime time for snow transitions, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. The heaviest snow looks to fall 6 p.m. till midnight. If you're getting heavy, wet snow between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., even 8 p.m., in that time period, I think you're going to see the highest amounts. 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., we may see that band push a little south, and that may up some totals for us here, but really I think that's what we're looking at. A lot of folks still will be disappointed to the south. That's I-74 quarter, I should say. Right there. It's such a sharp cutoff as far as things go. Light flurries in Milford. Again, Tracy mentioned that. We are getting a little ground confirmation of some of that light snow falling into the area. But no impacts. Winter needs to take a break and bring back summer. I think there's some folks that will agree with you. There are some folks that won't agree with you. It will be spring soon enough. It's what? A couple days from now, the rat in the ground tells us whether we're 6 more weeks of winter or if there's more winter ahead or whatever that is. Is Paris on the line? I think the way things look, Nancy, is Paris is probably not going to be on that line. It may end up being just to the north here. It looks like we're cutting that line off a little more into southern Vermilion County. It would take a little more of a boom as far as getting that line further south, but I still think you'll get some light snow into tomorrow. We've got that 2 to 4 inch range, I think cutting a little into south Vermilion County here and that 1 to 2 inch there. We'll wait and see how that plays out for you as far as it goes. Ken, give your plow drivers some room. We're going to be busy. Yes, absolutely. A great reminder. Big thanks to our plow drivers and snow removers and road crews for keeping things clear for us. Really going to be bad for them, I think, north of 74. They may still be out in areas to the south, putting down a little salt, but we'll have to watch and see as far as it goes. Tricia, we are always on that line. You are right about that, especially if you live in Champaign-Urbana. It seems like it always sets up. These last number of storm systems, it's been to the north, impacts to the south, next to nothing, and Champaign sits in the middle. Last time we were more ice, but this time it doesn't look like we're dealing with an ice event. It seems like we're dealing more with snow or rain. So there's the good news. Not expecting a freezing rain, not really expecting much in the way of sleet. Seems like it'll be a clean event. Steve Anderson checking in from Gibson City. Totals for up there. Gibson City and Paxton, I've got you in the 2 to 4 inch range. There may be a time period tonight where you get a little more than that, but if it transitions back to rain, it will compact it back down to that 2 to 4 inch range that we have. It's a heavy, wet snow, so by the time you wake up tomorrow, that's my best bet is that 2 to 4 inch range is what we'll see. Yeah, again, no ice expected from this. Really, it seems like it's a clean snow to rain, but that doesn't mean there won't be some ice on the roads. But this isn't like a freezing rain sleet event. You get some slick spots with slushy weather out there. As long as those plow drivers are keeping up, that's good. Milford is right on the line. Yeah, we really think Milford is a clean 2 to 4 inches. We think you'll still be in that. You're right on the line as far as impacts go. I'll jump back to that snowfall map one last time and pop that up here. Seems like northern Vermilion, southern Iroquois, southern Ford, northeastern McLean County, that 2 to 4 inch band sets up there. We've got a little wider to account for some uncertainty here, but that cutoff is probably going to be even narrower than what we have as far as it goes. So we'll have to watch and see how that plays out. In this light blue area is where we think that occurs in that 1 to 2 inch band. So on the northern edge of that, there could be a little more. The southern edge, there could be a little bit less. We're also having to take into account some melting, some compaction, and mixing in some rain, which will compact that even more since this is a heavy, wet snow. Kevin, I think he's heading to Watseka, 4 to 8 inches up there. So if you see him up there, wave to him, say hi to him, maybe leave him some dinner. He talked about he might have to drive north on Highway 47 from Mahomet to Gibson City. So he may, we'll see if Mama Dickey makes him a sandwich. I don't know. He may not go that way. We'll wait and see. And then he's going to head north towards Iroquois County to get in some of that heaviest snow as far as it goes. Let's see what else we got. Here we go. You get what you get, don't you throw a fit. I love it. Thanks, Denise. We really think that's going to be the case here. I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably not going to look like this. It may be that 2 to 4 is a little further south, and then it cuts off immediately to 1 or less. We've got to account for uncertainty in this forecast, and we think folks understand that Champaign-Urbana, Farmer City, Bloomington Normal, even Danville and south of Danville, right on that line where we think that snow band sets up. So give us a little bit of room with that uncertainty here, but I think as far as the setup goes, we're pretty comfortable with how things are looking. And so this is our most likely snowfall forecast scenario. Again, some folks in the midst of this, from that 6 p.m. to midnight window, particularly Ford, Iroquois, Livingston, Northern Vermilion, Northern Champaign, may go above the forecast amount. But then if we transition back to some rain, we'll start to compact it back down to these numbers. So this is almost at the end of this event. Once everything is out of here, what we think we get. So it's entirely possible if you measure at the right time in Gibson City, even though we've got you in 2 to 4, you could get a 5 or maybe a 6. But you add some rain back in along Route 9 like we think is going to happen. Water on snow usually compacts it down. There'll be some melting that occurs, but we think we'll have such a heavy snow event at times where it's going to overcompensate for those melting ratios. So we may go a little high, but we think we'll settle back down. I hope that makes sense. I wish, anyone else wish, I wish we could have a clean, area-wide, 3 to 6 inches. It's all snow, none of this rain moving in, and it's just a clean forecast. We never get that, it seems. It's always this mixed rain, snow, or rain, freezing, rain, sleet, snow, as far as it goes. So again, that transition zone setting right over I-74. Our range in Champaign, 1 to 2, it could go up to 4. It may be less than 1. It's 10 miles, 15 miles is where I'm comfortable saying that is along the Interstate 74 corridor for snow to rain at this point. Again, Richie asking anyone in the storm tracking vehicle. Kevin will be out there. He'll be out there this afternoon into tonight, heading to the north as far as it goes. Alicia, what's snow cream? If you don't know what snow cream is, I learned about this when I was growing up, but I really got to enjoy it down in the south. I was in Mississippi as a meteorologist for about 3 years. Snow cream is big down there. If you get a heavy wet snow like you have now, you can mix in some milk, some sugar, some vanilla, maybe chocolate chips or sprinkles, and you can basically make ice cream out of snow. This is the type of snow that's good for that. I'll put the recipe on my Facebook page this afternoon into tonight. A lot of you probably aren't going to be able to make it. If you're in McLean, Livingston, Ford, Iroquois, you've got the best chance to get enough of this clean, wet snow, high water content snow to make that. So that's something that we'll be watching. We got a recommendation for Kevin. He should eat at the Clifton Diner and then stick around for the snow. We'll see what he does. I'll pass along recommendations to him. I know folks have been messaging him too on his Facebook page on where to go. Yeah, Lori talking a little bit about that snow cream. It's good stuff. You can do maple syrup. You can do vanilla, chocolate syrup, all kinds of stuff. So I'll put a recipe on my Facebook page here later on this morning as far as it goes. One last check for the heavy snow starting around 6. Yes, we think the snow will start to mix in really between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. That heaviest snow, 6 p.m. till midnight tonight along and north of Interstate 74. If you're sitting between 6 and 8 p.m. and you've got snow, more than likely you'll stay in snow and have the highest totals for us here. If you are starting with rain transitioning, you'll get a little less. If you're at rain between that time, you're probably staying rain. Really, I think that 6 to 8 window will tell us a whole lot about how things are setting up for us with that transition zone right over Interstate 74. So that's what we got there. Milford, we think just south of Watsiki, you're still in that 2 to 4 range. That 4 to 8 maybe just to your north, but you could very well overperform 4, if not a little higher than that. So you're solid, I think, to keep it snow in that area. Is there ice in Danville? No, we think this is more of a snow or a rain event. There's not really any warm air aloft that is ruining things and giving us a freezing rain or sleet potential. That's good. It's either going to come down as snow, a mix of rain and snow, or then all rain as far as it goes. No snow yet in St. Joe. Afternoon into the evening, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., any rain that's in place. If you start getting some snow mixing in along north of I-74, after 6 p.m. to midnight, the heaviest snow. Joshua, what is the probability of the rain freezing along 74 in Champaign with the snow? I don't really think it's going to freeze necessarily. Our temperatures won't really drop low enough to cause an ice event. Yes, there will be some slush in the ground. Yes, the roads may have a few slick spots. The whiteout conditions is more our concern. And if you start getting that heavy snow just to the north of 74, then that's what we have as far as it goes as whatnot. So temperatures, let me just pop that up real quick. That's a good question. I'm seeing some temperature questions pop on in. So here's our temperature for today. Our high is going to be mid to upper 30s, depending on where you are. And that's going to happen midday, early afternoon. Then things will cool off, I think, into tonight. Then we're down to a low of 31. We really need to get to 29 to have some serious problems in the road. If they've got salt and they're plowing in that snow area, that should help road conditions overall. I'm more worried about visibility as far as it goes. And then tomorrow we're back up to 35, a little cooler to the north, a little more mild to the south and west. So we're never getting significantly cold where we have issues with that here as far as it goes. Still scrolling through, lots of questions. I love the questions. Thanks for asking them. We'll answer as many as we can. What if you are flying into Willard around 9, need to drive to Mahomet? We're right in that zone. Again, I really think you could drive between Willard and Mahomet and go from all rain to all snow. That's how close this line is setting up here. There could be some delays at the airport. I'm not an expert in airport weather, but if there's heavy rain, reduced visibilities, even some of that snow, that could change things quickly. So if you're flying, keep an eye on that forecast there, JJ. Keep up to date with your airline. Is Hoopston going to see the snow? We've got you in the 2 to 4 inch range. You could overperform to the higher end of that. If not a little higher, we'll wait and see how it sets up as far as it goes. Yeah, Cynthia asking about Monticello. We really think that you're going to get just rain in Monticello at this point. That's 15 miles down the road from Savoy. That's how close we are here. It would take a little bit more to get the snow down tonight, but Monticello, we may get a chance for some snow for you, even Decatur, down towards Arcola, Tuscola, Paris, tomorrow, as far as things go. Effingham, just rain. Sorry, Effingham, you always are just rain. You got one event of snow. You're done for the year. No more snow for you. No, I'm kidding. But Effingham, it looks like it's rain today. You may get a little bit of light snow tomorrow, though, in the area. Oakwood, looking good for snow. Right on Interstate 74, it's that transition zone. You could go 5 miles north of Oakwood and have a couple inches. Oakwood may see nothing. 10, 15 miles shift is all it takes for that to change here at this point. Wellington, Milford, we've got you in the 2 to 4. You may overperform that as far as it goes. We'll keep you up to date on that. Tracy, thank you for the updates. We're glad to keep you updated. We thank you for trusting us with your forecast. We hope you've got the WCIA 3 weather app. All the updates we've talked about here are there. Chicago, there's a place that's getting clean snow. In fact, let me jump back to my winter weather alerts graphics, and we'll take a little tour around the state here. Up there in Chicago, it's going to be a solid snow event for Chicago. They could get, I think they're in the 6 to 12 inch range with some lake enhancement. So northern Illinois is where you want to see the snow. Those pink counties are winter storm warnings. Of course, we've just got Iroquois, Benton, Warren counties on that. If we could draw winter storm warnings by polygons and not by counties, I really think the northern part of Livingston and the northern part of Ford County would be included in that. And if we could do the same for winter weather advisories, I really think northeastern DeWitt and far northern Piatt counties along I-74 would be that there. Again, we talked a little bit about how winter weather advisories, warnings, alerts are issued on counties, not like tornado and severe thunderstorm warnings. We can carve out polygons and have a section of a county in there because we're more specific. Maybe one day that will happen, but again, I think really the impacts for Bloomington, Farmers City, Mansfield, Mahomet, Champaign-Urbana, the forecast really the same around there. 10 miles, one way or the other, is where that snowband transition zone will set up. So that's what we're looking at as far as it goes. Richie asking about right now. Yeah, let's jump back to radar because I've had a few reports of some light snow already. We've had a report of sleet in Bellflower, some light snow in Milford. There's still dry air here. This is not the main event. So I don't expect this to really cause any impacts, but you may get a little here. You can see this heavier band. Starting to see some of those dark blues in there. That may allow for some snow flurries to reach down to the ground a little heavier. That'll be coming in towards Champaign here momentarily, Fisher, Gibson City, up towards Colfax as it pushes to the east. Very narrow, light, not worried about this morning. We think the main event transitions from heavy rain to snow 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and from 6 p.m. to midnight snow, that being along and north of Interstate 74. To the south of 74, it stays rain throughout the evening there. So that's what we've got as far as that goes. Yeah, we're having a little snow this morning. We see that there. I'm not too worried about it as far as it goes. How about Kentland, Indiana? Southern Newton County, east of Sheldon. So we've got you out here. That's right there. There's Kentland. You will probably be in that more close to 4 to 8 inch range, just outside of our viewing area, but we know folks still watch us barely as far as it goes. Some more snowflakes. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about this morning's round. Yeah, we got a little bit coming in, but that main event is what we expect. Scrolling through the questions. Got a lot of them. Here we go. Here's a good question from Raphael. What is Virga? Is it a rain and snow combined? Virga is actually what most of what we saw this morning we thought would be. Seems like we're getting a little bit of a heavier band there, which will allow for some of that to overcompensate. What we have is up aloft. Usually you see this, you can see this in cirrus clouds. You'll see the clouds are up there. It looks like wispy little trails coming down from it. So it's saturated up there. We can have rain or snow fall. But close to the ground, there's a dry layer of air. And as that snow or rain falls into it, the dry air eats away at that and evaporates it. And a lot of times what happens is we've got to get all of that dry air to saturate before we can get things to come down to the ground. Or you can overcompensate that with some heavier snowfall rates or rain rates. So you can get a few sprinkles in there, but it will take a little time for that to happen. Once the main rain comes on in, and that is just off to our south and west here, this is the main event here. So probably already seeing some light rain in Macoupin, Montgomery, Fayette counties, and coming into Effingham shortly. But we'll fill that in with all of that rain coming into central and northern Missouri, southeastern Kansas, and whatnot. That's what the main event is. We're just getting a little light appetizer, or a little pre-dinner coffee, whatever you want to call for the main event right now. Is Danville going to be impacted at all? Yes, we think you've got a chance of getting anywhere from less than an inch to 4 inches of snow. You're in that 10-mile either direction transition zone of I-74. It will be wet regardless if you're watching. We're at 100% forecast for rain or snow. So you'll get rain or snow. Some of you will get both. Some of you will be just snow and heavy snow, particularly to the north. That's what we got. All right, that's what I got for y'all. Again, some folks are joining on a little late. If that's the case, we're going to sign this off. I'll throw this graphic up one last time and do a final explainer. Then we're going to cut this off. The updates are on the blog, on the weather app, and on the website. You can watch those there. Not really expecting problems this morning into the early afternoon. From about 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, we'll be seeing rain fill on in pretty quickly early afternoon. 3 to 6 is when we expect areas to see a transition to snow north of Interstate 74. From 6 p.m. to midnight, that transition zone we think will shift a little south and park itself right over Interstate 74, which likely means a mix of rain and snow. 10 miles further south means all the difference for Danville, Oakwood, Ogden, St. Joseph, Champaign-Urbana, Mansfield, Mahomet, Leroy, Bloomington Normal. Areas 20 to 30 miles to the south will have to wait till snow on Sunday. And the impacts on Sunday will be a lot less as far as it goes. There may be some lingering impacts where we see that heaviest snow in the morning, but I'm less concerned. We get a light band of snow on the backside, may dump an inch. I shouldn't even say dump, may drop an inch of snow in areas that miss out that are seeing just the rain today. That's what I got for y'all. Thanks for logging in. Again, we'll be live tonight at 6 p.m. on WCIA 3 News. I don't anticipate being live any earlier than that, but we'll post graphics and keep you updated as far as it goes. It's going to be really fun to watch where that narrow transition zone sets up here from lesser snow to more snow, right close to Interstate 74. And then we'll be live between the 6 and 9 show on our digital platforms again. Kevin will be out in the field. I'll be here in the studio. And then we'll be live on TV again, 9 o'clock WCIX, 10 o'clock WCIA 3 News. By midnight, I think the heaviest snow is out of here. Then we'll be back on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. So you can join us then again if you're looking at driving somewhere, you want to know road conditions. We'll have all of that and keep you covered throughout the rest of the day today, tonight, into tomorrow. From the field in the Storm Tracker with Kevin, right here in the studio with myself. Again, thanks for joining us for this special Facebook Live update. We've been in here for about 45 minutes. If you're watching later, this will be posted. It still will be applicable through the afternoon and evening hours. We'll keep you updated on our WCIA 3 weather app, online, and of course, right back here at 6 o'clock tonight. Take care. We'll see you then.